I'm going to get so much hate mail over this video. Hey guys, welcome back to the old mill shed. So today, we're going to sharpen a saw chain. So before the comments start rolling in, there are a lot of different ways to sharpen a saw chain. And I read the comments on other channels, Grandpa did it this way, and that's the only way it's to be done. And oh, I would never touch a chain with a Dremel tool, or I would never use a grinder, or I would only use a grinder, or I would only use a Dremel tool, or this contraption or that contraption, and hand filing is obsolete, and whatever. Everyone's an expert. What we're going to do today is hand filing, freehand filing. And there are even different ways to do that. Some people use gauges on their rakers. I'm one of them, and I'll explain why later on. Some people like to have the saw in a vise and lay over top of the engine to where they're looking at the bar up close. That's okay. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people like the bar up kind of in their armpit. Maybe not really in the armpit, but kind of lower, but their arm is over it, and then their torso is on one side of it, and they file the bar like that. That's how my dad did it, actually. It works great. If that works for you, do it. Some people like to stand off to the side because they have a good bench, and they really can't get over top of the saw. Maybe they're a little bit shorter stature. That's fine. Whatever you do, find what works for you. If you can do it multiple ways, even better. The biggest thing is find what works for you, find what helps you get the file into the correct relationship with the chain to give you the best results. Another thing I want to cover is a lot of people say that, well, I really don't want to hand file a saw chain because I'm not confident in what I'm doing, or I don't want to screw a chain up. I totally get it. I used to be in that camp myself. Don't worry about it. You're learning a skill. When you're learning, you're going to screw up. Okay? So just put that aside. Eventually it's going to become second nature to you. There's going to be times you're going to have chains that are so screwed up, like you've hit a rock, or like I did a couple years ago. I hit a porcelain fence insulator, and no matter what I did, I really just couldn't get that chain back, and ended up having to scrap it. And honestly, I think I did more damage to the chain trying to straighten it out than what was done to it to begin with. It happens. Don't worry about it. Okay, so today we're using my Husqvarna 562 XP. Most of y'all know I run mostly Husqvarna saws. Nothing against Steel. Steel makes great product. I have a Husqvarna dealership just down the road from where I work. They have always given me great customer service, and I have returned the favor to them by staying with them. I've bought, I think 4 saws from them at this point, and they have all been great. And the one time that I actually had a problem was actually with this saw, with the auto-tune module on it. And they actually rode down to my place, picked it up because I started work before they opened, and fixed the saw and brought it back to me the same day. And it was a warranty repair, so I highly recommend Husqvarna or Steel. I know I just pissed off both camps by saying that. So this chain right here, it's 24-inch bars, 84 drag lengths, 50 gauge, 3/8 pitch. It takes a 7/32 file. But this is what we call a full house. Every position that you can have a tooth has a tooth. You'll have some that are what they call skip chain or skip tooth, which means you'll have a tooth here, a tooth here, a tooth here, and every other tooth will not be there. Both work great. I like a full house personally, unless I'm ripping lumber. And then you'll have chisel and semi-chisel. Now this is a semi-chisel chain. Let me show you what that is. Okay, so when you're looking at chisel and semi-chisel chain here, chisel or full chisel, your top of your tooth is going to look like that, right? And this is the way the saw is running. It is going to be full width, and there's going to be a sharp corner where your cutting edge is. And this is the part that contacts the wood first, that little corner right there. It's going to come out and it's going to be square. So if you're looking at it from the front, it's going to be like that. That shoulder is going to be sticking out there, and it's really going to grab that wood. Semi-chisel is going to be like that. Now it's still going to be sharp. It's just that this shoulder right here is kind of curved over. And it's going to be a little bit less pull on the saw. It's great for saws that have a little bit less horsepower, or especially saws with low kickback chain. And I think all of your low profile chains are going to have the semi-chisel grind on them. I've never seen one that was low kickback full chisel. Now I'm not saying they don't exist, I just never seen one. So as you're learning to saw, sharpen your saw chain, two chains that I would recommend. One is the Steel Oil-O-Matic full chisel. Some people call it flat top chain. It has a mark on the back of the tooth right here. I don't know if that's coming up on camera or not. I may have to take a picture with my phone and add it and let you see it in editing. But it will help you keep your angle straight when you're filing that tooth. The advantage of Steel Oil-O-Matic chain is it moves the oil down your guide bar a little bit more efficiently than other brands. If you can't get a hold to Steel Oil-O-Matic, Husqvarna X-Cut. That's actually what I run the most of. It has you get the full chisel, but it has that mark on it as well. And the advantage of the Husqvarna chain is it is pre-stretched at the factory, so it doesn't stretch out on you when you first put it on the saw. It will, when you tighten it up, you tension it, it will stay there. Both chains are great. Both chains will serve you very, very well if you keep it out of the rocks and the dirt. So something else I want to talk about before we get going is your file. A high quality file will make sharpening a saw so much easier. And when you get them, they come like this. Have this tang here, and that's what goes up in this handle. Now, you should never use a file without a handle on it. If something was to slip, say you was holding it, like this, right? Here we go. So you're holding it like this and you're filing the tooth, and this thing slips with enough force, and it doesn't take much as you think. That sharp little end will go right into there and end up right in this area here. Very bad. It's going to be very painful. Take the extra time, go ahead, put a handle on it. If you're in the woods and you don't have a handle, find a sapling, cut it off, drive it down on here, do whatever you got to do. But protect yourself. These things will hurt you if you're not careful. And just like everything else, there is a correct way to install a handle on a file, and there's a correct way to uninstall a handle from a file. So I have my file in here, and let's just say it's worn. Take a pin punch, piece of brass rod, whatever, stick it in the handle, and take your hammer and knock your file out. When you're ready to put your file back in, stick it into your hammer, to your handle here. Do not hit the tip of this file with a hammer. I've seen people strike them with hammers. I've seen people take them upside down and jam them down on a cross tie or something like that. Is that how you do it? Hold the file handle with the file in it, strike the end of the handle, and that will tighten the file up in the handle. And that way you're not striking this hardened piece of metal that will shatter. Okay, so enough talking, let's move on to how to sharpen this thing. So here is the tooth that we're going to be filing, right here. Had a hard time finding, I'm trying to look at the camera and find the tooth at the same time. This gullet right here, I don't know if it shows up on camera or not, is not very open. This tooth is almost sharpened from the factory to vertical. And we're going to take, with this 7/32 file, we're going to rip that gullet right out of it. We're going to open that up so that the sawdust can actually get out of it. And when you're filing, it is very important to keep your angle right. Your sawtooth will tell you if your angle is correct or not. Now you can be off this way a little bit and you'll still be okay. This way, not so much. So when you file, you want to keep that angle correct, and you want to maintain contact with the tooth from the heel to the tip. Now the tip is the part that contacts the wood first. You want to keep contact there all the way across. You don't want to come back here. You're going to concave the front there. You want to keep this as flat as you can, and you definitely at the end of your stroke don't want to do this. You don't want to pick it up off the heel because you're going to lay that cutting edge back. So you want to get a good solid stance, and that's going to take a while to develop. And just take little strokes, not a lot of force, and you just let it kind of slide back on the back stroke. You don't want to put any force on the back stroke. And even stroke, and you want to watch that burr kick up, and that burr should kick up from the toe to the heel, especially on a chain that hasn't been damaged. It should kick up evenly at the same time. And don't worry about leaving that burr on there, because the first time it touches the wood, that burr is going to pop off. And some people say you should only do 3 strokes per tooth. Well, in 3 strokes, this one wasn't sharp. And even now I got just a little bit of a ding still right there in the center, so we're going to take a few more. Now some people will rotate the file when they come through. If that works for you, do it. If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. But what I would say do is take a couple strokes. If you don't rotate it, turn it about 1/16 of a turn and continue on. Alright, I got a burr all the way across, and that gullet has been opened up. Let's see if I can get a better shot of that gullet. Alright, so here is a tooth with the factory grind on it, and here's the one we've been filing. See how that gullet right there is a little more open? So that gives that sawdust a little more room to flip up out of there. And you'll see that I've got the correct angle on it, and there's that little burr all the way across the tooth. It's not much of one. Like I said, the first time it contacts the wood, that's going to pop off of there. Okay, so this is the first tooth we did. I'm going to put a little paint mark on him, just so I know where I started. And what we're going to do So we're going to go all the way around. And we're going to file all the teeth the same as that. Then we're going to take the saw and we're going to flip it end to end. Then we're going to do all of the teeth whose cutter's off to the left side. This is the right side cutter. This is the left side cutter. So I'm going to sharpen all the rights. Don't flip the saw around. We'll sharpen all the left. So when you come in here, it's the same thing. Maintain that angle. About 10 degrees down this way. Make sure you have this right. Drop the handle side down so where this file's about 10 degrees. And you see that it just kicked that burr up evenly all the way across that tooth. And when you advance to the next teeth, never put your hand on here to move the chain. Use your file. And what I normally do is this little line here on my nose sprocket, that's where I move the last tooth that I sharpened. And that way I know where I was. Another trick that I do is I use my chain brake to help hold the chain still so it's not doing this number here. Okay, so I've gotten all of them on the right side. You see the one that's got the red mark on it is right there. So now it's time to flip the saw around. And that's how a hillbilly without enough room to work sets a saw up so he can sharpen the back side of the chain. Okay, so just like sharpening the other side of the chain, only thing is now when I'm sharpening this way, this side, I'm going to have my right foot forward instead of my left foot because my right hand's on the far side. When I'm sharpening the other way, with my left hand's on the far side of the bar, I'll have my left foot forward. So my body is automatically on that angle. This side, I do my right foot forward. And let's pull this back to where go. So now that we've got the saw sharpened, it's time to set the rakers, or the drags, whatever you want to call them. Some people can do it by eye. I've never been able to. And I actually use a gauge. You know, they make gauges that are specific for this chain. And then they make gauges like this that work on many different chains. And both have their advantages. I think the one that's specifically made for the chain, so a chain that is full house, 3/8 pitch, you know, they have one and they'll have like a hardwood sitting and a softwood side. It's probably a little more accurate, but it's only good for that one chain. Now if you own different chainsaws with different pitches of chains and everything, you're going to have to buy a separate gauge for every saw, for every chain. This works better because, at least for me, because I've got 4 different saws and I know of at least 3 different pitch changes. I know this one's 3/8, my big saw's 404. I think the little saw's 325. And my little electric saw they use to just like limit up, you know, this little stump I don't want to have to go grab a gas and oil and everything for. I think it's even a different pitch from that. So this little gauge will work on all of my saws. Now, if you only have one saw and you run one kind of chain every time, or if you're a professional logger or something, it might be worth getting that other gauge that's specific for your saw and specific for your chain. But we're going to use this, and let me show you how it works. Okay, so how you use this is this sits over top of your drag links, okay? And you can actually use this to help you learn to get your angles right if they happen to work for your chain. It doesn't on mine. But this sits on top of your chain, and your drags sit up in this open area here. Let's go to the start on the one right there. So what you do is you take your flat file, and like I'm touching that one, and that one is sitting below the gauge, so I don't need to file that one. Well, maybe I might take a little strike on it, just knock that tip off. Yeah, that's down below it. Let me put my glasses on so I can see better. And on this one, you don't have to go all one side and then the other. You can just move straight on back all of them. That one's below. You just take this a little bit off of it. You don't want to open these up too much. Now, some people say go ahead and bring those drags down. If you've ever done that before, you'll know that your forearms just get wore out because the saw's grabbing and it's pulling you and everything. And it actually slows you down. A saw that you're having to fight, whether you're having to force it down through the wood or it's grabbing and trying to pull you in and everything, not only is it more dangerous, but it actually slows you down. A smooth running saw, one that just wants to cut, is not fighting you in any way, that saw is going to cut you more wood in a day than one that you're having to fight. Because eventually, you're going to get wore out. And when you're wore out, you're not going to be able to work as hard. And when you're wore out, you're going to make bad decisions because you're tired. And it's been proven that people who are tired may not pay as much attention. That might not see something that you should have seen if you were not completely worn out from fighting the saw all day. So why do that to yourself? Why do it to the saw? You're going to burn more fuel if this thing's grabbing and pulling and jerking and everything, because you're going to be on and off the throttle more. So just sit your rakers or your drags where they're supposed to be. Keep your saw sharp, and you will actually cut more wood during the day. And I'm just using this as a straight edge. Yeah, I use this a little tough. Pretty much that's how you sharpen a chain. Make sure you have your angle right. Watch that tooth. Let the tooth tell you what it needs. If it's convex, say you accidentally knock that tip off of it, Make it right. Take your time. Little short strokes. You don't have to put a lot of pressure on it. Just work that tooth in. Speed will come the more that you do it. So, you know, and this is not a race anyway. And then keep those drags filed and, you know, shit, I still got my work shirt on. I'd make sure I don't have that in the video. They might not like me advertising my company that I work for here. As always, thanks for watching. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. It helps the algorithm a lot. We'll see you here next time under the shed.